Hello everybody, welcome to today's live, which is all about taking action. And I thought I'd talk about this because I've heard a lot about it lately actually. These things just tend to come up, and so it seemed like a good thing to talk about. Because a lot of us want change in our lives. We want something to be different, but we often don't realise, or at least don't pay attention to the fact that really nothing's going to change unless we change something. It doesn't have to be in ourselves, but we do have to change something, because if we change nothing, then obviously everything is just going to stay the same as it was. So, it doesn't matter how much we want something, how much we dream of having it, unless we make changes, they're not going to happen. So I thought that it would be a good thing to just talk about why it might be that we don't tend to make changes initially, and then also go on to how we can. So the basic reason why we don't make changes is not laziness or anything. It's usually just our brains trying to keep us safe, because our brains like to work with what is and what they know. When there's something new on the horizon, it has to sort of struggle or scurry to catch up. It kind of goes into that fight or flight. Oh, what's going to happen? Keep yourself in the comfort zone, because the brain knows how to deal with what's there. And that aspect of the brain trying to keep us safe can show up in lots of ways that basically amount to self-sabotage, which is, I know it sounds paradoxical, because it's the brain trying to keep us safe, but it can lead to us sabotaging those things that we actually want to bring into being. So, for example, we might then procrastinate about whatever it is that we want to do, that we want to change. We might come up with all sorts of excuses about why it can't happen, or it can't happen now because it's not the perfect time, or it's not the perfect circumstances. It might be a lack of self-belief. We just don't think that we can do whatever it is, or we don't think somehow that we're worthy of doing or having whatever it is. But again, it is just the brain trying to keep us safe, because we can have or do whatever it is that we want to do or to have. We just got to believe that we can make it happen, and actually start to make it happen. Now, often we can think, yeah, well, that's all very well, but say I want to run a marathon, but I'm really unfit. I can't possibly run a marathon. Well, no, you probably can't run a marathon now. I certainly couldn't, because I haven't been training for it. But I could start. I could start by going on a jog round the block. I could, if I'm really unfit, I could just start going for a daily walk to start getting my fitness going. The point is that you can start taking baby steps towards that goal, and then those baby steps lead to other baby steps, and then they become bigger steps, and before you know it, you are well on your way to getting whatever it is that you want. Another example, somebody might say, oh, I'd like to maybe go plant-based with my eating, because I know it would be good for me, but I really can't give up meat. Well, just try a couple of days a week, saying, okay, those 2 days a week I'm not going to eat meat, I'm just going to eat plant-based. And then, that's a step in the right direction, because it all has to start somewhere. You don't just go all out for the big thing. Now, another thing that can often seem hard when there's something that we want to do is that we may not know all the steps to get to where we want to get to. And that is really, really common. But again, we just have to start small with those baby steps. Often the next step isn't revealed to us until we've made that first step. We've really taken that little initial baby step. It's like climbing a set of stairs, really. You climb onto the first step, and then you're ready for the next one. You don't sort of take the leap to step number 10 when you're on a set of stairs. You go for the first step, and then you go for the next one. And, taking action is about that, about those baby steps. But another area that I really wanted just to talk about, the importance of taking action, is that we might often read a lot around what it is that we want to do. We do lots and lots of learning about it. And we think to ourselves, well, I'm not ready to take that action yet because there's so much more learning that I want to do. Well, again, it's a kind of procrastination, because it's a bit like perfectionism. And again, it's our brains trying to keep us safe. Whereas, you can start putting things into action before you've learned all the stuff about it, because there's so much information out there. We'll never learn everything about it. But you can just start and then learn more as you go along the way. I once had a business coach who used to say this, that people who wanted to set up in business often thought that they had to have everything perfect beforehand. So they would spend absolutely ages setting up the perfect website and getting all of the systems in place that they would want to use for payment or whatever it was. But that was really just a way of putting off, excuse me, getting started, because they were waiting until everything was so-called perfect until they actually got going and started to attract clients. And that applies across lots and lots of areas in life. Lots of people have a dream of writing a book, but it gets put off because it never seems like the right time. But you could start just by scribbling down or typing whatever it is that's in your head on any given day about that book. It doesn't have to be in perfect order. Even established authors have to go through a rewrite process, a constant editing process. But the key is to start. You're never going to write that book unless you actually put pen to paper or start typing. And even if you have to rewrite it completely, it's just getting started. That's the thing. It's putting stuff into action. Just so a very brief example about my own business. I posted yesterday about the fact that it was 5 years since I left law, which has gone in a flash, I have to say. When I left law, I didn't know what I was going to do next, actually. I just knew that I had to leave. And then I thought, well, okay, I've got to do something. So I will start a business giving Reiki treatments, because I was already trained in Reiki. And that's what I started to do. I didn't know anything about running a business because I'd been employed all my life up until that point. So I took the step of starting to offer Reiki treatments, and people started to come to see me. And then I started to refine my process as I learned more as I was doing it. And then I gradually realised that I liked advising people about their well-being as well as giving them Reiki. And so I expanded my business into well-being programs as well as just simple Reiki. And then it all collapsed because of the pandemic, and I wasn't allowed to practice Reiki. That was just the rules at the time. You weren't allowed to do Reiki. So I had to go back to square one, and then we moved down to Devon from the Midlands. So I had to start all over again from scratch. But by then I knew a lot more about running a business. I'd already given Reiki treatments. I'd already devised I was in the midst of devising my wellbeing programs. And so one step was leading to another. And then after doing that for a while, I got interested in chakra dancing because I was going to that as a participant. Absolutely loved it. And so I decided that I wanted to train in chakra dancing, to add that to my toolkit of things to offer clients. And so that has now become a huge part of my business. And that's, a few years on from where I started, from not really knowing what to do, except that I knew I had to do something. So, and it may still expand further. Who knows? There's all sorts of opportunities out there. But the point I'm trying to make is that I just took some action initially. So going back to my earlier analogy, I took the first step on the staircase. Now I'm a few steps further up the staircase. I've still got loads to learn about running a business. It's still quite alien to me. There's lots of things that I have to look up because I've never done them before, or I want to refine them. And, I'm very much planning that in the future I'll be able to employ people to do all the things that I'm not great at doing, like social media and bookkeeping and all of that kind of stuff. But I took action in the first place, and so that's what got me to where I am today. And you can take action too. Anybody can take action if whatever they want is something that they really want. I'll try not to go on too long because I know I've been nearly 10 minutes already. moving down to Devon was, a huge thing. That had been a dream, to move by the coast. And lots of people say to me, oh, I'd love to live by the coast, I'd really love to do that, but they never take action towards it. It's always going to stay as a dream unless they really decide to take action. And when I was talking a couple of weeks ago about manifesting, one of the really big parts of manifesting is that you have to take some action. It doesn't matter what it is, because if you take action, the universe will see that you're taking action, and it will provide you with more information that you need, with more opportunities, and usually with the next step that will become clear once you've taken that first step along the way. So taking action is what's key. Just take that baby step. So whatever it is that you've been procrastinating about, or dreaming about, or learning about, maybe you've got lots of learning about a particular subject and you think, yeah, I'll put it into practice one day. Start today. Take that first baby step, whatever it is, towards what it is that you want, and you'll be on your way, and the next step will appear. So, as always, thank you for watching and listening. If I can help in any way, do give me a call, send me a message. I do free 30-minute calls with people, so I'm very happy to chat with you. But otherwise, have a great day, and I'll be back with you again next Tuesday. Bye for now.